Hi, thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum, namaste. My question is, how do we reconcile the belief that we must be still, we must be at peace, with our duty to act in the name of justice? So how do we reconcile both our duty for justice and our belief of stillness?
Respected Bhikkhu Bodhi, I would like to invite you up here.
Okay, so Venerable Pannakara has requested me to answer that question. And I think it's a very extremely important question because in my opinion, in the situation that we are facing in this country and around the world, inner peace is certainly an essential requirement, but we also need justice. Because what we see taking place in this country right now, I have to tell you, I'm 81 years old. I grew up during the period of the 1960s when we had the civil rights movement, 1964, 65, voting rights, civil rights. Wow, the country is opening up, losing its heritage of racism and discrimination. The anti-war movement against the war in Vietnam, we're coming to an era of peace. Then early 1970s, the feminist movement, women's rights are coming to the front of our social consciousness. And now what are we facing? I have to say, sadly, it's almost a reign of terror, where people are being terrified. School children afraid to go to school from fear that they're going to be grabbed off the streets and sent to a prison or detention camp. Workers afraid to go to work. Families being torn apart. So it seems that we have to balance this inner peace with what I call a strong commitment to conscientious compassion. That is compassion inspired by a sense of conscience, a responsibility for the welfare of all our fellow citizens, all the residents of this country, and indeed a universal compassion for all human beings around this world. And do we have a loka here?
Yes, we do.
All sentient beings around the world. Yeah, so we have to combine the quest for inner peace with this conscientious commitment out of compassion to ensure justice and promote really the well-being, safety, and security of people who are in trouble, endangered. But I'm just a stupid monk, so I don't really know very much.
More questions? Raise your hand.
Hello, on behalf of the United Tribes, we have a question. What is your message for our children and our next 7 generations?
Children, for me in this world, not just the United States, but I think we lead our children to a different path already. is because we live in this world dependent on technologies too much. Way too much. Look around us in our family. A child will have an iPad, iPhone, smart tab, things like that. The more they use it, the more they'll be sidetracked because a lot of distractions around on social media, on the internet and everything. And like us, I talked about earlier, the phone is always a problem because we depend on it too much. Imagine how many phone numbers we remember back there. 15 years ago, 20 years ago, how many phone numbers we be able to memorize? The whole phone book? Probably. How about now? How many phone numbers that we actually memorize by heart? Probably 3, 4, 5 phone numbers. So what is the problem? I believe it's because we depend on technologies. Back then, you have to dial the number within our head. We have to use this head, say the number, and we dial it by hand. Now, tap, 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 Nikki, Ken, just put the letter N and K, it will show up everything, and then we just dial. We lose in our memories each and every time. And that is how we train our children to go on the same path. And sadly, for me, my point of view and what I can see, our future generation will have a big problem. So in order for us to change our future generation, we have to start, become a role model for our kids from now. Stay away from the phone as much as possible. There's nothing wrong with it, don't get me wrong. It's just that we depend on it and we use it way too much. Versus before, we didn't even have one, we still survive. And now probably we could not survive if we don't have one. Imagine if there's internet outage and we're gonna call the internet company and complain all day long because of no internet. We could not survive. It's very difficult for us. So dependent on technologies is going to kill us. Our brain, our mind is shrinking every day. Back then, we can use our head to calculate a math. How about now? We have to use a calculator, we have to use a phone to calculate a very simple math. Just that alone, we are leading our children to a very, very wrong direction. So if we could, starting from here on, we need to train our children again, not to depend on technologies too much. Thank you.
My question is simple. How do we become more intentional about morality?
More morality. Well, for us as a Buddhist monk, we practice mindfulness every day. Like I mentioned about it, if we are mindful enough, we know what we should and what we shouldn't do. Without mindfulness, we could commit into a lot of things, right? So we always have to train ourselves to have mindfulness, to be aware of everything happening around us, what's popping up in our head. The more we stay focused and aware, the better we are. And mindfulness is the answer, the key that we need to practice. To be honest with all of us here, mindfulness is missing, and people been living without mindfulness. It's very tough for all of us. We missed out mindfulness. Because of unmindful, we have done a lot of things. All the things that happen around us is also because of unmindful. So we need to train ourselves to be mindful, to know what we should and what we shouldn't do. Thank you.
What is your response to Christian nationalism? And say a word to all religions at this time, particularly Christians in this country.
For me, after 17 years of ordained, I respect all religions. And I'm very grateful to take on this journey to walk that far from Fort Worth, Texas to here. And I'm very grateful that all churches open the door to host us, to give us food, to give us place to live, to stay overnight. And we are here in this beautiful church, in this very holy place. So for me, I have never talked about religions, regardless of what they talk about Buddhism. It doesn't matter to us it really doesn't matter to us what they say, what people say. But for us, when we practice, we respect all religions. Because to me, all religions teach people how to live, how to be a better person in this society, how to support society, and how to support this country, our country where we live in. And of course, earlier at the church, the pastors told me that there's over 100 kids studying every day, go to school there every day, and of course all churches, all places, all temples are also teaching our future generation to be a better person in this world. So for us to talk on behalf of all the religions, I don't have that knowledge. But I do have one thing that I share along the road. I said, we have different backgrounds, different beliefs, different religions we practice in every day. But after all that practicing, we go into the church, we go into the temple, all reverend, all pastor, all venerable monks, all gurus, all teachers are teaching people how to be good. But in common, after all that, we do have one religion in common, which is the religions of love and kindness, compassion and peace, that we are seeking for every single day, we worshiping every single day, and that temple, that church is within our mind. So that is the answer that I could answer. I respect all religions, and now that we are in this church and out there so much, and right here so much faith leaders joining us, this world should be like this for me. It should be like this. There's no need to be separate or any division at all whatsoever. Thank you.